So my name is Karen Claudio. I am first a parent and second the director of the Southeastern Family Leadership Series. A few years ago, I was actually a participant in the leadership series. And in that series, it's a group of families that are introduced to a lot of ideas about inclusion and friendship and vision building and making some significant change. In in my series, in the very beginning, a gentleman named Jim Ross came in to talk about widening the circle. At the time, I was really kind of confused why we were talking about that. It was about friendship, and I had a 5-year-old daughter that was newly diagnosed, and I was so fixated on making sure that she had the right therapies and services and resources for myself and my family that I really didn't understand the importance of friendship. Jim had asked us questions and we shared. And if I remember right, Jim had asked, what do you think is your child's biggest barrier? And he went around and asked everybody. And I sat right in the middle of the class, so it was halfway done. And, we heard things from other families. Someone had a nonverbal son, and that was a barrier the family felt. Another one felt that their son just liked video games and really didn't want to explore. And he came to me and he's like, Karen, what would you like to share? And it was really, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't say this. I don't know these people. And he said, no, it's reassuring that it was safe to share. And I said, I'm my daughter's biggest barrier. At the time, my daughter had been invited to birthday parties. I had declined those invitations. The fear of my child having a meltdown and her being judged by others was extremely great. I worried about excuse me. I worried about the impact that would have on her for the rest of her life, the impact it would have on me as a parent. And as I cry now, I was crying then when I shared. But at that moment, just saying it, and even now, it was really a light bulb moment. And it really changed the trajectory of my daughter's life as well as my own. I was able to recognize that I was her barrier, and I'm more aware of it. I can't say that it has stopped. I think part of it is just being a mother, but I allow her to have those friendships. I'm happy to report at 11, she has many friends that are typical peers that she makes on her own, and she has sleepovers. So I'm very grateful for Jim's conversation, even though it was extremely difficult to share at that time. It's less difficult now. I kind of, although I'm crying, I kind of want families to realize that friendship is so important, and that she has a connection to her community. And there's not one person that doesn't know this kid in her school. She is definitely outspoken and kind and goofy, and loves everybody. And I think as any human wants to just belong, that she belongs. For me, as a professional, and being the director of the Family Leadership Series, the biggest thing I think families can develop is that sense of community. But there is a high statistic rate for individuals with disabilities to become lonely as they age. And that was, I had read it during COVID. They had some kind of study. And I thought to myself, how sad is that, to be so lonely that you don't have one person that you could just connect with? I mean, it's just human nature. Why would we want to take that away? Why wouldn't we want to build that connection? And it doesn't have to be best friends or, somebody, but somebody that would say, hey, I miss seeing you around. You always bring a smile to my face, or I miss something. I feel that community connection is the way that we really need to push a lot of things. Now, we have special ed in school and sub-separate classrooms. We don't have a special ed world. we have one community and one world, and everybody should be included, no matter what their differences are. And so to me, this past weekend, she went to a girl's house. I had never met this girl. She had talked about her for years, and I met the young lady's mom, and I don't say that my daughter has autism, that she could experience this. I just say, if there's a problem, please call me. Please treat her like your own. Um, do what you would normally do at your house. I do not set parameters for other parents when she goes there. I did bring her snacks, and I just used the excuse like, hey, I didn't feed her lunch yet, so I brought her salad and like the snacks that she likes so she can eat while she plays, and we'll talk to you soon. But the mother picked up right away at dinner time. When I picked her up, she said, hey, she didn't really eat. She just had plain pasta, because she just eats plain things. And she was totally fine with it. I mean, and the little girl didn't even ask about it. She was like, yeah, I had tacos, she had pasta, whatever. And these are 11 and 12-year-old girls. It was a non-issue. And we get so stuck in that like disability world that we forget that there's another world that exists, right? And in that world, sometimes is not welcoming for us. It's not. I mean, yes, there's a ramp, there's a quiet room, but nobody's talking to me. How can I facilitate? My fear is my child being alone, and anybody feeling that they're not wanted is not okay to me. It's not okay to me. So I think it's okay for parents to initiate, like, hey, are you okay with my daughter coming over? Maybe, just for a few hours a day and playing. She's really looking for a peer. There's nothing wrong. I feel like there's more goodness in the world, right, than they want to give and they want to understand. I don't think that so they say no. So what? What? You know what I mean? If you don't ask, it's already a no. If you do have older siblings, sometimes your older sibling's best friend is key to making friends. All my daughters, I have 3 daughters, my older 2 daughters' friends love my youngest daughter, and they look out for her, and they help facilitate conversations with her. One volunteered for her to go to cheerleading, to be her coach. So I guess it brings me back to building that kind of small community to help you build those relationships.